What's up, guys? Cassandra Carson here from Paralandra and the Life Project, and you're listening to the Weekly Pour podcast.
Hola, amigos. This is Billy Sheehan. You're listening to me right here and watching on the Weekly Pour podcast. Thank you.
Hey, this is Frank Fletcher. You're listening to the Weekly Pour podcast with TbT and Ace.
I'm Logan, right?
Yes.
That's how all right, I'll go now. What's up, everybody? It's Logan from All the Pretty Things, and you're listening to TbT and Ace on the Weekly Pour podcast.
Hey, guys. This is John Karabi from, just about every band but ABBA, and you are listening to the Weekly Pour podcast. Turn it up.
Hey, guys. It's Leather Leone, and you're listening to the Weekly Pour. Great metalheads, crazy music, because we all bleed metal. Ciao.
Yo guys, it's Mark McKay here, and you're listening to the Weekly Pour podcast. Crank it up.
My name's Reggie, and you are listening to the Weekly Pour podcast. Thanks so much for joining the most amazing twosome out there.
This is Mark Merrill, also known as Johnny B. Bad. It's a blessing to teach you a lesson at the Weekly Pour with TbT and Ace.
The most amazing things that can happen to a human being will happen to you if you lower your expectations.
Choking chickens, though?
That's a personal thing.
Okay, fair enough. Welcome everybody who's in the chat. If you're not in there, go to our YouTube channel right now and check it out. Of course, our moderator for the next 5 or 10 minutes, Natalie, is there. So be sure to say hi, hit the thumbs up, hit the subscribe button. If you don't want to do either one, then do it anyway because we said so. Hey, how you been?
Pretty good. Busy.
Yeah. It's like 2 weeks ago was our last show. And it feels like it's been like 4 weeks because everything's been nonstop.
It does. And you were busy. You had a convention.
Yeah. Went to a convention. Yep.
I think it was the Association of Strip Clubs or something like that.
Strip Club Performers and Pole Dancers Anonymous. Yes.
It was a union meeting.
It was. It was good. I got I learned some good things, new tricks. Though that's for a different episode. Let's see who's on here. Lou is in from Michigan. Jason is in. Of course, Natalie. Sandra D. It looks like she is in. Whoever's in there, make sure you say something in the chat. I got to tell you something.
Okay.
So, we're aging gracefully, as they say. I went and got my eyes checked.
Right.
And it had been probably 5 years-ish.
Wow. I do mine every year.
Well, congratulations. I do not. It's 5 or so years, maybe. And, mine got just a hair bit worse. And that sounds horrible, but like they changed minutely enough to where I needed to get new contacts. So I don't know the technical words, but whatever. They changed a little bit. I'm not blind. We'll put it that way. So I had to get new contacts, right? Everybody sees that I wear these stupid readers. They're always on top of my head.
Hey, Shannon.
And Shannon. Hello, Shannon. Well, I use these daggone things all the time.
Right. And I never knew you wore contacts.
Right.
I thought you just like to have about 4 pair of readers on your forehead.
And 1 pair of sunglasses.
Right. To, keep your head warm in the cold winter months when the sun refracts.
Yep. Like a magnifying glass on an ant.
Because if you had hair, what would happen?
Burn it.
Yeah, you'd be on fire.
Like Gene Simmons. Or no, that was Michael Jackson, wasn't it?
It was Michael Jackson in the Pepsi
whatever.
Commercial. Paul caught on fire once.
Yeah, right. I mean, so if I did this, I would burn my beard.
Nobody does that.
Nobody does that, though. Anyway, so I was introduced to this new thing because I wear contacts, and I've got these reader things that I wear. This thing called monovision. Number one, didn't want mono. That's fair, right?
That's where you wear an eye patch and use one eye.
Right. So you walk around like a pirate. It's fitting. It fits my past. I could walk around like I'm a pirate. Arr. So monovision, for those that care or don't care. Hi, Kathy. Glad to see you
Hey,
in.
Kat.
Hello, Caleb. Good to see you in. For those that don't know what monovision is, you literally wear one contact lens in your dominant eye. My dominant eye is my right eye. So I wear one contact in this eye, nothing in the other one. I have to train my brain to, yeah, I mean, that's funny ish, but I have to train my brain to be able to look in the distance with one eye and read with the other eye. And then I don't have to have these readers. I don't have to have them. As you see, I have the readers on top of my head. You know what that
Right.
means?
That's a habit.
Not just that, it also means I have both contacts in.
Right.
Because, I just did.
I don't understand it. I mean, eye doctors do it all the time with this monovision thing. I don't
Right.
get it.
Me neither.
But I think what they did with me was it was something similar, but I didn't have to wear one contact. I had to wear two totally different prescriptions. One was supposed to be for distance, and one was supposed to be up close.
Yes, I refused to do that because that would make me look like I was drunk. Trying to walk. I don't remember what they call that. I bet Sandra will chime in and say what that's called.
I thought they called it monovision, but
no, monovision is mono one. Like when you have
Right.
mono, you have one of something.
Right.
But yeah, I don't know. I don't know what it's called, but whatever. When you have the one distance and one close. I don't know.
When are you going to do what the eye doctor told you to do, though?
Monday.
So starting fresh on Monday.
Yeah, I didn't say which Monday.
Yeah, it's Tuesday now.
Right. So it's obviously not this Monday. And what? Sandra just chimed in and said that's still mono. And then she says, no. And see, I can read that and I didn't even put those down. But now it says no. So see, I wasn't screwed up. It still says that.
I have nothing in my eyes except my eyes.
Right. However, before we went on the air, you had glasses on.
I did. I do certain things for TV.
Right.
I sacrifice certain things for TV.
Yeah, that's why you're always looking elsewhere and never like really at the screen.
Right.
That's to your left.
So no, I go every year, and every year I get a new pair of glasses, and every year I lose them.
Right. But luckily, you can find free ones every once in a while.
Every once in a while, it's amazing that you can find some that actually are your prescription that people just leave laying around.
Did they leave them around, or is that maybe a pair that you lost and that you actually found?
No, I don't think so.
But see, it's possible. Maybe.
I guess it could be possible.
Okay.
But I don't think so. I think someone left them laying around because they are what I would normally wear. Here, I'll go ahead and put them on.
But could you have left them laying around?
This is Ace bespeckled.
Whoa.
So
now you're despeckled.
I am.
That's weird. My kid's in town.
Which one?
Not Lil TbT. TbT Jr. is in town.
Ah, cool.
With his lovely wife. And they flew in the other day. They got a rental car.
Good.
That's the one thing you don't ever want to have happen when you're in a rental car.
You don't want to break down.
Second.
You don't wreck it.
There you go. Well, guess what?
Okay. Deer.
No. Ant.
An ant?
An ant. Or as you other people call it, an aunt.
So which aunt or aunt was driving?
The only one.
What happened?
They weren't even in the vehicle. They were visiting with Mama TbT, and they were parked in her side driveway. The Aunt TbT, is in the driveway. Oh, Kathy, that's not true. I would absolutely do that in a rental. But I guess she was leaving and she backed into their rental. And then she took
okay.
off. She took off. So we
So
called
it's
the
so
cops on her, and she's been arrested.
yeah, that's leaving the scene.
No, we didn't do that. She didn't leave. But it wasn't her fault. It wasn't her fault.
How?
I don't know. You'd have to ask her.
Oh, it's that logic.
It was, yeah. I think she was having a bad day. She was blaming Mama TBT because
My youngest at her place of employment had 2 different cars backed into by the same person. 2 different cars parked where she was told to park by the employer. Yes, and the employer backed into her car once and then did it again with a different car.
was she trying them all out?
2 separate cars with dents in them. This person has a backing cam.
So does the aunt.
Yeah, won't use it. Won't use it. And
How
then was
old is
upset.
this employer person?
She's in her early 70s, I think.
Okay, so she wasn't raised with a backup camera,
I wasn't either.
but they still have mirrors
Correct. Several of them. You have like 3.
and these weird clear things on each side, back and front, we call windows.
Right, and you can turn your head around and look out the back one.
Shut the front door.
You seriously can.
What?
Yeah, but she says that she didn't see this car where she told that person to park it and still drove into it twice. 2 separate cars. Oh.
Yeah, they're blowing this up in the chat. Yeah.
3 times in 2 cars. I'm sorry. I was corrected in the chat.
Oh my gosh.
What are the odds?
She still works there though, right?
Yes. But I surveyed the scene personally, and I told her to park. There's a barn off in the distance.
A barn?
A barn. I told her to park by that barn.
Okay.
About a mile away.
I hope they don't back a tractor out of the barn.
No.
Okay, so it's not a tractor barn; it's just a barn.
It was just a barn.
Okay. How was your turkey day?
It was good. We had to move it around a little bit to accommodate some people. Then other people contracted sicknesses. It was a small affair, but the important thing was my son, my daughter-in-law, my grandkids, my children were all there, my wife. So it was still a good time.
Did you just have one, or did you have multiple Thanksgivings?
Normally we have 2,
right?
But we tried to combine them into one.
Oh, you said tried. Did it not work?
It did not work because everyone was in the hospital. Like
that we got that sick.
Well, sick and then other injuries. Yeah, so they were in the hospital or at home sick or something like that. So it didn't quite work out perfectly, but it was still a good time.
And not from your cooking.
No one had tasted my cooking yet.
Ah. Did anybody get sick afterwards?
No.
Good.
No, but we had a lot of food left over. So maybe no one ate it.
Do you still have leftovers?
No.
Okay, good. I was going to tell you to throw them out.
No, I ate them. I finished them today.
Good. Oh, yeah, we don't have any. You finished them today. It's perfect. Well, that's good. Ours was good. We went to some family because it's just, us. The dogs, they didn't get to go, but it was good. Hung out with family, and it was funny because on my normal social media page, not the show page, but my normal one, I had posted a silly meme that said something to the effect of getting ready to ruin the holidays by talking politics.
Right.
It's sarcasm. It's what I do. And I was joking and haha. And then lo and behold, if somebody didn't sit in front of me and ask me what I thought about a certain politician, and I lost it. I laughed.
Someone at your dinner?
Yeah. So I laughed and I was like, I am not answering that, and this is why. And I told them, and then they laughed, and then somebody else laughed, somebody burped, and another one farted, and it was the end of the day.
Yeah, and that's the thing is, currently in our climate, it's so top of mind.
Yeah.
Everything's political, so it's hard to avoid it.
Right.
I'm guilty of it, but
Yeah.
But I can avoid it too. I can talk about all kinds of things.
Yeah, I'd rather talk about sports.
Like, I don't hunt, but I will listen to your stories and I will interject. I can talk about hunting.
Oh yeah.
It's deer season, so I can talk about it.
Yeah. Like, yeah, same. I don't hunt either, but whatever. You went to a concert over the last 2 weeks, like around the whole Thanksgiving time, correct?
Correct. So the part of the clan that was able to make it from out of town,
right,
stayed over into Saturday, and these are tickets for Kiss for the final shows that we purchased. Oh my gosh, a year ago.
Right.
So there was some trepidation on Friday, Black Friday, because we had learned that Paul Stanley was sick.
Right.
And sick with the flu, and 2 other shows, I think 2 shows or 3 shows. 3 shows were canceled.
Mm-hmm.
And so, man, I didn't want to drive all the way to Indianapolis and get in line and ready to go, and then they cancel the show, right?
Exactly.
I had friends that were going, other than who were going with me. They were getting there quite a bit earlier than I was. I had someone I knew was going to the sound check for the VIP package.
Okay.
So I was getting updates, and Paul was there, and everything was cool. So we were glad for that. Glad he was healthy. But then I wondered how this show was going to go if he's just recovered the day before
from the flu.
And he's older, and the flu affects everyone differently. And this was severe enough to cancel shows. Kiss never cancels shows. Paul Stanley practically had a heart attack on stage. They hauled him off in an ambulance and continued the show.
Yeah.
So this band, thank you. This band never ever cancels shows. So this is a pretty big deal.
Yeah.
So we get there. We have to wait in line. We're there early for once. I'm never at a show early.
Did you pay for primary parking?
No. We parked at the Washington Street garage, about 7 blocks away. My daughter gets free parking there. I did not.
Right.
We had to pay. But, not only that, she didn't. She knew she got free parking, but she didn't know how free the parking was and how good it was. She got some sort of employee parking that was like right up front. Yeah. I was 3 ramps up in this garage, and they waited like 25 minutes on us to wander our way down.
Right.
To the lower level, because they're got their special parking.
Where was this?
This was in Indianapolis near.
No. Where was the show?
Conseco. What is it now? Gamebridge.
Yeah, it's still Conseco Fieldhouse to me.
Right. So
okay. Why was I thinking it was at Deer Creek?
Why in the world would I be at Deer Creek in November?
The same reason we were in Terre Haute in the middle of August.
Yeah, but it's a lot colder.
Yeah, but it was a lot of hot.
Man, it was hot that day.
I know. It was stupid hot, and we were wearing black.
Who the hell are we?
I don't know. Whatever. Anyway.
So we get in the show. The show is I was concerned the show wouldn't even be sold out because on the way up, we get a notification that tickets have been released. Tickets that weren't available before have been released. So I'm thinking everyone's selling their tickets on Ticketmaster, or something.
Exactly.
Because what if Paul doesn't make it? What if we have to cancel this show? It was a full house.
Because there's no opener for this, correct?
There is an opener.
Okay.
I didn't know what they were doing. In previous shows, they had a painter do an opening act. He would paint the crowd on a big canvas. Yeah. And I guess it's really cool. I guess there's some dialogue, and he interacts with the crowd, and it's not just a guy painting, which that would be just ridiculous.
Yeah, because I couldn't imagine Bob Ross sitting up there. We have to watch him paint a mountain with trees and a waterfall for an hour and a half before Kiss.
He is more popular in death, though, than he ever was in life.
Well, yeah, but he's not a very good opener for Kiss.
Well, probably not. But what makes this guy a better opener? Did he sing?
Oh, I don't know. You were there.
Well, the painter wasn't there.
What?
This is what they had, the painter in past shows.
Oh,
so I wasn't sure what we would have.
Okay.
If you're familiar with Kiss, one of the things they're known for is launching a lot of big acts.
Exactly.
So Rush has opened for Kiss. Great White has opened for Kiss. I think Bon Jovi has opened for Kiss. I mean, you just name a band, right?
Who hasn't?
Who has not opened for Kiss? So the opener was a band called Amber Wild.
Why do I know that?
You've not heard of them, right? Never heard of them.
No.
They were very, very good. Kathy would have upgraded.
She said she would have upgraded it, and then she said Iron Maiden, and I think Iron Maiden has opened for Kiss as well.
Right. So Amber Wild was excellent. It turns out the lead singer, guitar player is Paul Stanley's son, Evan, and they were excellent. They played about 6 or 7 songs. I guess they've got an EP or something coming out at some point. The only thing I saw available was a single on iTunes at the moment, but yeah, they were really, really good. I was impressed. So it was cool seeing, Paul Stanley's kid do something really cool. He sounded great.
Would they play 30, 45 minutes?
No, it was probably 30.
Okay.
So the short side of 30.
Right.
Yeah, but we didn't have to wait long. That was the cool thing, long enough for everyone to go to the bathroom, because we were pissing the people off at the end with all the bathroom breaks back and forth.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone gets settled in, though. Kiss comes on. I'm skeptical. I've talked about this in the past. We've talked about this a lot. Kiss has been accused of tracks on this tour, singing to tracks, especially Paul.
Right.
Whose voice we all know is a struggle these days. So they come out and play Detroit Rock City, and it sounds pretty good. Second song is, can't think of the second song right off the bat, but by the end of that second song, I heard the cracks come through in Paul's voice.
Okay.
That sounds like a bad thing, but no, it's not. Because as I listened more and watched on that big screen you got up in front of you, it looked like he was singing live.
Right.
Yeah. So
which is what you're wanting.
Yes, I was thrilled to death. He was to me, it's passable. It's not what Paul Stanley wants to be. It's not where he was in the 80s when he was at his peak.
Yeah.
But this guy is 71 years old.
They've done 2,000 performances.
Right.
Over 50 years.
So 71 years old, just recovered from the flu. My theory is, since this was one of the last shows, because we had another show and then the Madison Square Garden finale.
Yeah, those 2 shows, right.
I think Paul wanted to go out the way you're supposed to go out and actually sing these shows. Because I do think there were tracks early on, because this is a long tour. How long is this tour? 2 years, 3?
Yeah, at least.
Right. So I think he sounded pretty darn good for a 71-year-old man who has sang for 50 years, just recovering from the flu. It was good.
Right.
It was just fine. Kiss, once I got over that and understood what was going on, man, we were all into it. I had my daughter, my niece, my other daughter, and my niece's husband. We all went, and it was a good time. It was a blast.
So how were the theatrics on this last tour?
They're what you would expect. Pyro everywhere.
Right.
Lots and lots of explosions. The Gene Simmons blood thing that he does, spitting of the blood, that was probably the most dramatic I've ever seen it.
Really?
Yeah, because I've seen Kiss. This is the 6th time I've seen Kiss. This is the first time I've seen them in makeup in an arena.
Okay.
I saw them without makeup on the Revenge tour in '92.
Right.
That was actually what I call like my wife and I. That was our first date.
Gotcha.
Essentially. So the lighting, you get all the cool lighting in arenas. You know, you have that advantage. So they've got the close up on Gene's face with the green eerie lighting and all the smoke, and you know, then you see the effect of what he's doing with the blood, and you get it's creepy as fuck.
Is he still doing the same bass track?
Oh yeah, I'm
Yeah,
sure it is.
and you know, doing his little twitches and
yes, all of that. You know, but that's cool because it's familiar.
right. Were they doing the typical stage lifts and flying over the crowd and all that, or have they mellowed out on that?
No, we had the drum riser still, you know, hydraulic lifts. We had Paul flying out in the crowd for I Was Made for Loving You and Love Gun.
Good.
Then Gene and Tommy Thayer were on lifts, big risers that went up. You know, when they were playing certain songs and stuff. So they did a lot of cool stuff. Encore, we had two
nice.
songs.
Okay.
Right. We had Do You Love Me?
Mm-hmm.
Off Destroyer, which is a great song off Destroyer.
Right. Rock
and Roll All Night, of course. Normally that's where I would leave.
Yeah.
To beat the crowd. But I actually stayed and we all reveled in the confetti and the balloons and all the shit happening, the fireworks and stuff. Paul busting up a guitar, all the things. They had huge blow up versions of themselves in the corners. Like they look like carvings, statues.
Well, and now after what we know now, following their, you know, epic 2-night performance at Madison Square Garden, that almost makes sense why they would have, you know, these statues.
Yeah, because what we found out Kiss, Paul, especially, has said that Kiss will go on forever.
Right.
Something to that effect.
Mm-hmm.
He has said that for a very long time.
Exactly.
The assumption was that, and what no one really wanted, was that they were just going to have replacement members. Mm-hmm. That this thing was going to be taken over by Eric Singer and Tommy Thayer, and we're going to have replacements that are younger come in.
Right.
To take the Star Child and Demon role, and Kiss would go on with just fresher people.
Right.
That's not what we got.
That is not even close.
Not even close to what we got.
To what was announced. Yeah. Not even close. If you haven't heard, Kiss has basically teamed up with Industrial Light and Magic, which is a company owned by George Lucas. It's a visual effects company, to create a new virtual Kiss. Avatars, if you will.
Right. The video package that I saw that was sent to me is what they showed at the end of the show, I believe, because they made an announcement at the end of the encore, at the end of both encores, and they show this big video package to the set to God Gave Rock and Roll to You.
Correct.
Track off Revenge, and it was some really cool Avatar animation.
Yes, I'll give you that. But the movie Avatar is very good as well. But here's my thinking on this. You can make avatars look great on a video package.
Yes.
How And I don't, unless I've missed it, I've not seen any announcement and how this is going to be done.
I
But
don't think we.
how do you have a Kiss concert with avatars?
Right, and, and
Sigourney
these
Weaver is going to be there. She's going to fall asleep in a pod, and she will then become Paul Stanley. So,
well,
I don't know.
what we saw were a lot of Gene with giant demon wings in this avatar,
Yeah.
breathing fire like a dragon. I think Eric Singer is hitting these drums that are like discs flying in the air.
Yes.
We've got lightning bolts coming from Tommy's guitar, that kind of thing. So, what do you do? What do you do though? Are you making a movie? Are
So,
you?
what about, and I could see this, are they creating the new way of concerts by saying, okay, let's make this. You have a lot of people who don't want to go out and do anything still, and we'll take that back all the way to the pandemic. Some people still don't want to go out to crowds and do that thing. Some people don't want to fight crowds going to concerts. They don't want to pay ticket prices
They don't
because
want to
of.
go to Walmart.
True, but look at the thing for ticket prices, and we may be onto something here, possibly. Is this going to be the new way of doing concerts and say at an IMAX theater?
No.
Look at the sphere
No.
that they've put in Vegas.
In Vegas, this would be good for that.
Exactly.
But I mean, are you going there? But it would be a novelty.
Will it?
If you set that in the sphere in Vegas,
okay,
for a handful of shows, like a residency, I
sure.
guess it would be kind of cool.
But what
because
if it becomes a Vegas attraction? Remember when they've done all these other things that didn't necessarily take? You know, they just couldn't get the footing and they would fail, essentially. What if this becomes an attraction? If you've never been able to see Kiss, and of course, you know, by our standards, you're still not going to be able to see them. What if you're able to go to Vegas or whatever city and actually go to a virtual concert, if that's what you want to call it, and always be able to go see Kiss? They've done all these different things where not every show would have to be the same. They could change things up because they put on the
Right.
costumes, you know, to record their movements and everything. So it could always be changed up. You can, and they've got 24 records, 24 records worth of music. Let's say there's, you know, at least 7 to 8 tracks per record. That's a lot of music. Now, obviously, over a certain period of time, you would eventually run out of a good mix. But could that not become an attraction to where you can't go see them on tour anymore because 80, 90-year-old Kiss isn't touring? They're not putting on these shows because, you know, they can't sing, whatever. Now it's become an attraction. We're talking about Kiss, who put their logo and on everything from
Yeah,
caskets and
on
lunchboxes, everything.
toothpaste,
Yeah,
name it. Okay, but you're talking about an attraction.
sure. But only by attraction, I simply mean like a Vegas residency. But instead of it a residency, it is the Kiss concert. That is the attraction. Kiss in concert.
Right, and if it's in something like a sphere, and you have Gene flying up with those wings, and he's covering the whole vast, width of that spherical object, and then he's
With
breathing
fire.
fire at you.
Yeah.
Sure.
If they do this, I want to share.
I don't think that that's going to be the norm for concerts. Yeah, there's a lot of comments that right there. But I don't think that's going to be the norm. What we've run into in the past that's actually more realistic but kind of scary are the holograms. Have you seen the holograms?
Right. But this wouldn't have to be the hologram because it's more of an avatar. And it's kind of like what Toby just said, like a virtual Kiss concert show. Absolutely. It's virtual, still interacting with the crowd,
Right.
because that's one thing that you'll miss out if you're not at a live concert is being able to, have that interaction, woo, all that.
Oh, we have the AI technology now that, oh my God,
Exactly.
so scary. You got the AI technology now that it can adjust on the fly and react to you.
Sure.
It could, Gene could adjust his cadence, or Paul could adjust his rap, to the crowd, depending on what they do.
Right.
You could yell out a song and they could play it. I don't know.
I just don't see how they're going to take the avatars as they are now, as what we saw in a video. I don't see how they're going to make that a concert, because here's the thing. If they could at the time, this is just the way I'm thinking. If they could have, then they would have done it at that last show and not just played a video saying, hey, it's the end of this, but the beginning of something new. But they didn't do that. Gene Simmons is a very smart businessman. We know this.
Well,
he's also made some very silly decisions that ended up, being nothing. But think of the Kiss coffin. How many people probably bought it and were actually buried in a Kiss coffin?
Don't know how many people bought it because it was cool.
Right. How many people have it sitting in their living room because it's cool and have a mannequin inside wearing a Gene Simmons mask?
Right.
Now, one thing I will tell you is that Ace doesn't believe they're done touring.
Well, Kathy said you could see the concert, but no tall heads in her way because she's so short. So,
well, I think
all over the place.
Right, but I think that was one of the things that was said, that they're not like normal size, if you will. They're huge.
They're bigger than life.
Right. So yeah,
larger than life. That's a song.
Ace Frehley says they're not done touring, but here's one thing I want to ask you about before we dive into that. My understanding on these last two, heck, the whole tour, but especially the last two shows at Madison Square Garden, I wanted to say Market Square Arena, at Madison Square Garden, there was no bringing up of past members. There was no mention of Peter, no mention of Chris or of Ace.
Nope. It was the standard set that you saw when I saw them just a few days before.
Right.
And the only thing that was different was the announcement at the end.
Sure.
My thought was it would have been cool at the beginning or in the middle, a video package even. A historical video package for a few minutes, paying tribute to everyone that has been in Kiss that contributed.
Yeah.
Bruce, who is, still active and can still play.
Yeah.
Mark St. John, who has passed, Eric Carr, who has passed, talk about Peter for 2 seconds, Ace, Vinnie Vincent, who's still around.
Right.
Who's still around. Well, he wouldn't have made the show because he canceled everything,
but imagine how cool would that have been on that very last show. Don't do the Saturday before or the Friday before. On that Saturday one, you have everybody that's still alive.
Bring them out
on that stage and do God Gave Rock and Roll to You, where they have everybody singing, or Rock and Roll All Night.
Rock and Roll All Night. They all know that one.
Yeah. I don't know.
But here's the problem. Here's the problem. And Ace and Peter, neither one want to be on that stage standing next to two guys that are wearing their makeup. That's the big problem.
Sure.
You got the makeup issue, but what you're saying in theory is pretty cool.
But why not put your freaking egos aside for 15 minutes?
They couldn't do that at the Hall of Fame.
Okay. Very true.
That's why they didn't play at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
To me, this is different though. This goes beyond the Hall of Fame. In my opinion, that should have been done. I don't run Gene Simmons. I don't run Paul Stanley, but if we've been involved with something for 50 years, they've contributed. I'm sorry, but there's no Kiss without Ace Frehley, Peter
Right.
Criss.
Peter
It's
Criss.
not the same. Even Vinnie Vincent, it's just not the same.
Who in my opinion,
Mm-hmm.
who helped save Kiss when they were down and out?
Right.
When Creatures came out, who wrote a handful of those songs? Vinny. Who wrote most of the songs with them on Lick It Up, which was their big comeback record. Like Creatures got ignored, unfortunately, but Lick It Up didn't.
Right.
And Vinny wrote those songs. We don't talk about that.
Do we not owe him a debt of gratitude other than just I don't know. We're never gonna, be in the thinking of Gene or Paul or whoever and those business decisions, but good grief. That missed opportunity, that's something you're never gonna get back.
Nope.
Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, I think Dennis in the comments said that it's a joke. I agree. However,
I love Vinny as well, Kathy.
as much of a joke as the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is, it's still the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And you only get inducted once as that group. Group. I'm not talking like, Ozzy hasn't gotten in as an individual, but we're not talking Black Sabbath and then Ozzy getting put in as a solo act.
Right.
Kiss will never be brought back in. They're there. You're never going to have another, and I know what you're going to say. You're going to laugh when I say this, but you're never going to have another final show. Even though everybody has, 1,000 freaking retirement tours, but if this is truly it, they'll never get that opportunity back. Can they do a one-off somewhere and do a special Super Bowl performance of, all the original members of Kiss or all of the members of Kiss? Sure. It's not the same. It's not the final tour before they become avatars. Do they have to plug their tails into their vehicles or their horses in order to ride them around when they're avatars?
I don't know.
Do they speak weird noises? I don't know.
So you could actually, if you got over your egos like you talk about, you could actually bring Ace and Peter and Vinny, who actually had makeup, original makeup.
Right.
You could bring that. You could put Eric Carr in virtual reality.
Yeah.
You could bring all those guys in and find a way to put them in virtually.
Could you imagine a big onk coming at you in the sphere?
Yeah, and that's the thing I never understood was why I know why. Because the spaceman makeup and the cat makeup is universal, and everyone recognizes it. They all know the spaceman. Well, matter of fact, Ace said just a few days ago, Fraley, not me, that there's people that still ask him for tickets to Kiss shows because they think he's in the band.
Right.
So why didn't they just have original makeup with those guys? And they said, well, there's just nothing else to come up with. I think you could have. But regardless, you could have.
I know, and I think we could beat this horse for the next hour, talking about different things of how maybe we would have done this whole thing differently. Real quick, I want to mention Dennis says talk more of those still not in. He's talking about the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Dennis, we have slammed the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and there's a lot of bands that we've discussed that should be in that aren't in, and some that are in that shouldn't be. And as a matter of fact, I think 2 episodes ago we were discussing those artists that are in it that are only like influences, but it's somehow influenced rock and roll. But yeah, you give that give that show a listen. That was a couple shows ago, but
I'll give you one. Boston.
Well, yeah, Ozzy. I'll stick with Ozzy all day long. According to Ace Frehley, he doesn't believe Kiss is done touring. I almost want to say I do. I think they're done touring.
I think you're leaning toward the more of a special, a one-off, a
Mhm.
New Year's Eve concert.
Sure. A New Year's Eve conference, concert, a Super Bowl appearance, a residency in Vegas.
A tiger would be cool. Kathy's talking about makeup. She's giving options for makeup: kangaroo, tiger,
Gerbil.
gerbil. But
Yeah.
you're right. But you're right. You could do it a New Year's Eve.
Mhm.
You could do. You think they're going to turn down the Super Bowl?
No way.
No way.
No way.
They never turn that down.
Nope. And watch that. There's been a lot of clamoring, this show included, of wanting to have a rock and roll performance, that's worthy of being called rock and roll. Not everybody likes Kiss. Not everybody loves Kiss. A lot of people hate them. Whatever. It's still a rock show.
I think there would be a huge curiosity factor for the people that didn't know who they were.
Absolutely.
I'm talking, Gen Z
Oh,
that
yeah.
may not know who they are.
Yep.
And if they're sitting with their parents, it would really be cool. Like, oh yeah, Kiss. Let's sit down and watch this. I'll tell you all about it.
So Ace had some, not you, Ace Frehley, had some comments about this tour. And he says, "I'm so happy I'm not involved. Last night I watched the footage of the Indianapolis show from front to back on YouTube. They had 10 comments and maybe a couple of thousand views, but compared to what I'm doing right now, you can't hold a candle to it."
And he's talking about what he plays live and that.
Well, and he's also talking about his. I mean, we just posted up his latest release.
A good
single.
song. Ace Frehley's new song is pretty darn good.
Yeah. Now we are still pissed at him
for canceling our show.
For canceling the show we were supposed to go to, only to find out that it was 2 years later or 6 months. We have no clue.
We have no idea.
Yeah, but it's interesting. Ace is. I don't see a bunch of stuff coming from Peter. I think Peter's just like, hey, I really loved being a part of it. Move on.
No, he's retired.
Yeah.
He played his last show 2 years ago, and it was a jazz thing. He had been doing stuff with a jazz band, which is what his love is. He's a big jazz drummer.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. He's in that realm where Ace is still doing his thing.
Yep.
But he's still talking shit. He's still talking smack about, whatever.
We're not that far away from what was it just a few months ago when Paul Stanley texted him fuck off or whatever.
Yeah.
We talked about that. There was argument over inviting him on and why aren't you inviting me on? And
right.
And response was, fuck you. It's however you want to see it, I guess, but I hate it.
But see, that's the difference. We're fans and we know that. The majority of our audience is probably old enough to remember Kiss the way we do in towards the beginning and all these people and seeing all these changes throughout the years. Yeah, it sucks because I will never not associate Ace Frehley with Kiss.
Right.
Because that's what you talk about, Ace Frehley, the original guitarist for Kiss. So that's always going to be, he's always going to be synonymous with them. And, I keep switching different things. So I miss some of the, wow, you were told to watch your mouth.
I'm looking at what Wes is writing about the Slaughter single about Vinnie Vincent, Burning Bridges.
Oh.
If you remember, Mark Slaughter and I think Dana Strum.
I think Dana Strum as well.
Yeah, they were in Vinnie Vincent Invasion.
Right.
For the second record.
Yep.
With Vinnie, and it didn't go very well.
No.
They didn't like how that whole thing went. They had a bad experience with Vinnie.
I'm pretty sure the lyrics went burning bridges, falling down, got a nasty reputation from town to town.
Yes.
So, yeah. How's that for pulling Slaughter lyrics out of my ass? Yeah, I love Slaughter. They were awesome.
Both of those Vinnie Vincent Invasion records, though, are really good.
Right.
Who was the singer on the first one? The guy that that was in Journey for 2 seconds before Steve Perry. Oh my God.
Yeah.
My
I
brain
can't
always
remember it,
fails.
and I'll sit here in dead silence, and then everybody will think it was over.
Robert Fleischman.
Robert Fleischman. No. Yeah.
Yep.
I thought he was the mustard guy.
No.
So this is almost a complete change of subject, but while we're talking about older bands and reunions of sorts, 3 weeks ago, when it was just us on the show before our guest that we had last time, before we had Cody on, we were talking about the upcoming Sammy Hagar tour.
Yes.
Well, Sammy had said, I would love to have David Lee Roth come out and join us.
Yes.
But apparently, David Lee Roth took that literal and replied to the tweet or whatever and said, let's do it.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah. Hold on, Dave. Pump the hate brakes, buddy. Because Sammy then said, whoa, I didn't mean for the whole tour, bud. Just come out and do a couple shows. Because he would love for Alex to do the same thing. Come out for a few shows.
Right. It's like when Chuck Panazzo shows up at a Styx concert, in the Midwest.
Right.
Just out of the blue.
Yeah. That'd be fine. I want to see that. When we go to that show, I would love to see David Lee Roth come out for a couple songs. That's it.
So, I think it would be fun. I do.
I
think it'd be hard to get him off stage, but.
Well, yeah. But speaking of David Lee Roth, it wasn't too long ago. What is today? The 5th?
5th.
4 days ago, he released and shared a new solo version of Jump, the Van Halen classic. The new recording was laid down in May of 2022 during a session in Hollywood, California. And the music and the vocals were tracked live with no samples and without the pitch correction technology auto-tune. We listened to some of it.
Yes.
Prior to hitting that go live button.
Yeah, it's what you would expect.
Yeah.
If you've seen Roth live in the last 10 years.
10 years.
Yeah, it's what it sounds like.
Yeah.
Which is good enough. When I saw them in 2015, it was good enough.
I jumped when he first started singing.
You did.
It scared me.
He hit that. Whoa!
Wow. Yeah. And I was like, oh, my.
I don't see the point. Is this the second time he's released this?
It's money.
Well, right. And here's the other thing. Does anyone care about a new David Lee Roth record?
Yeah, or David Lee Roth.
Or it's easier just to re-record something and throw it out there for fun, I guess.
Sure. But if we recorded this back in May of 22, and we are just releasing this 4 days ago, how ironic is it to release it after Sammy Hagar has come out and said, hey, you know what? I'm going to go out. We're doing a Van Halen tribute, pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to be playing these Van Halen songs. And David Lee Roth says, I gotcha. I'll release a new version of Jump. Just to show I still got it when I hit the stage with Sammy.
Right. Right.
Yeah. Who knows? It may work. It may not. I don't know.
Dennis says that Roth was forgetting the words.
Absolutely.
I don't know where Dennis saw him at, or saw Van Halen at. I saw them in Indy, of course, at the amphitheater there. I don't know if he forgot the words, but like I said, he was good enough that it didn't spoil the experience. It's kind of like Paul Stanley was good enough that it didn't spoil the experience.
Sure. He didn't Vince Neil it.
Right, which is, I don't know, you don't even know what he's saying until the words pop up that people make up.
Right. Those are some of my favorite videos.
Yeah, on the TikToks. So, but you and I, we basically got our summer concerts laid out, don't we? We did that within 2 days.
Yeah. We've only got 2 shows covered, and that's over a 2-week period.
I've not bought my Creed tickets yet, but they're coming.
Oh, yeah, got them.
Right, you did the pre-sale.
Yep, Creed's done. Hagar's done.
Right.
There are and we didn't get a chance to go into them tonight, but there are a bunch of other bands that have announced tours.
A slew.
So we may end up taking a residency in Indianapolis.
We might, for the summer, we might just get an Airbnb.
Right. The entire summer.
The entire summer.
Yeah. And coming down to just feed animals.
Because I've got, I got the Hagar tickets. I've got Priest tickets.
Yeah.
With Sabbath. My son and I are going to that. I'm just kind of lost. I'm wondering if I even bought something else I can't remember right now.
Yeah, that you can't even remember. You check your app. You'll have to double check. I know we're getting close to calling this episode done, but I want to end this, if you will. Do you want to feel old?
I already do.
How much older do you want to feel?
I don't want to feel any older than I already do.
Well, that's just too bad because it's going to happen. 35 years ago.
Oh my God.
35 years ago. Guns N' Roses released GNR Lies.
I think was I still in high school?
35 years ago. Yes, we were.
Oh my God.
35 years ago. It was released in 1988.
Yes, I was firmly still in high school.
Yeah.
I was actually probably jamming with Wes, in our band about that time.
I'm going to remind you again, 35 years ago. That is insane. If for some reason there's somebody that's listening to this that's never listened to GNR Lies, get it. Listen to it. We're talking songs like Patience, Used to Love Her, which is one of my ultimate favorite songs. I love that song. 35 years.
Think about the GNR discography, because they're in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Correct.
But think about what they have as a catalog. It is short and sweet.
Oh, it is. Absolutely. I mean, how long did... which one were we waiting for forever? Chinese Democracy?
Chinese Democracy.
Waiting for that album to come out. And then it came out and everybody was like,
oh,
well, that's great.
Funny thing, though, my oldest daughter, when we were seeing GNR, when they were doing the first reunion tour thing with Slash and everyone.
Right.
She listened to that record nonstop and loves it. Loves it.
Lies or Chinese Democracy?
No, Chinese Democracy.
Wow.
And when they played those songs in the set, she knew every word. She knew every word. She loved it.
So,
yes, I have these tickets, Kathy.
So 93, they released the Spaghetti Incident, and it wasn't until 2008 before Chinese Democracy came out. So technically, we're looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 albums. 6 albums. Appetite, Lies, Use Your Illusion 1 and 2, Spaghetti Incident, and Chinese Democracy. This isn't, no live album. I mean, they did have one, but I'm not talking about that. I'm not talking about their compilation albums or anything like that. 6 studio records. 6. And one of those was Chinese Democracy. It's great.
Yeah.
thanks everybody for joining the chat tonight. I know it's been a couple weeks since we did this.
Great.
But,
So active.
What?
It was great because it was so active.
Yeah, thank you very much for being active. That's what we like. Dennis, thanks for joining us. I'm going to give you an individual shout out because you threw a bunch into there, and that's awesome. We totally appreciate it. We hope you guys are coming back next week. We'll be back next Tuesday. We also want to thank Kathy, who is also in the chat right now. Kathy is with Music and More Records. Jason, who was in when we started. Jason's with Bad Company Barbecue. Both of those wonderful businesses are available online. If you need your records or your music needs, get with Kathy at Music and More Records. And of course, with your winter barbecue, not your summer, but your winter, pay attention to Bad Company Barbecue. Jason's doing some good things even during these cold months. So check them out. On behalf of Ace, I'm TBT. He's Ace. This is the Weekly Pour Podcast. It was episode 75. We'll be back next week with 76. So have a good week. See ya.